Hey guys, Anxiety Riot. I'm back for another video real quick. It's probably gonna be like 5-10 minutes long, whatever. Today I just want to talk about the three men in my life who influenced who I am today. And they're all a really important role in my life. Some more than others, actually, a lot more than others, but in different ways. So just to start with, there's three men, me, but three men is my father, my bio dad, the one who actually like created me, my dad, who's like my stepdad. He was, but not anymore. And the last one was I call him Pops, but it's my grandfather. It's my mom's dad. And I'm gonna talk about all of them today and their importance in my life. Um, and hopefully I can talk to you a little about how those three men have helped me, or not helped me at all, with my mental illness. So to begin with, my father, Michael, he was 22 when I was born, I think. My mom was 23. Um, and they were both too young to be parents, but not old enough to realize it. My dad came from a pretty broken home. His dad was a really bad alcoholic and abuser, and left his mom at a pretty early age in my dad's life. And because of that, you can see in my dad's side of the family the effects of alcoholism, abuse, and poverty. But everyone has their problems. I mean, it's not that's not their that's not who they are. But my father, in my life, he became, how can I say this, like the driving force behind what I know I shouldn't be. If that makes any sense. Um, when I was born, he actually wasn't there. He was no, he was there actually. He was there, and he was one who named me. So that's good, I guess. But we didn't live with him for long. My brother and I, and my mom. He at the time was a drug addict. Still, I mean, like, still is overall, but an alcoholic and an abuser. And during my entire life, he's been nothing but um, someone who pulls me down, you know. Um, but it's hard because he's my father, and I think every kid wants to have a dad. If you don't, you know what I'm saying. And if you have a dad who's a piece of shit like mine, you know that like you want their approval for some reason, even though it's not worth anything to you. It doesn't benefit you at all. But I've always wanted his approval for some reason, and it's never really worked out because pretty sure he hates himself more than anything in the world. So when you hate yourself, you can't really like anything else. And it's not an excuse to not be a good dad, but it's something, I guess, something that he can use. I'm not sure. Um, Growing up, he was like constantly in and out of my life. We had a lot of things where a lot of times where he would call me like, "Hey, I'll pick you guys up. I'll be there at 11 or something," and he would never show up. And for a while when I was younger, this is when my mom was married to Lee. Um, we didn't see him, and then I just remember randomly he kind of came back into our lives and picked us up. And at the time, he was living in a town called Fox River Grove, next to a bar, so that's very fitting. But when he picked us up this time, we were going to a different town, and the town was called Lake in the Hills. I'd never really been there that much because I don't really know anybody in Lake in the Hills. But it's a pretty uppity town. You know, it's fine. I don't care. But on the way, he told my brother and I, "Oh yeah, I got married." You know, and which I thought was like crazy. Now that I'm older, I'm thinking like, who just gets married and doesn't tell their kids, or like, and the thing is like she didn't tell her kids either, so it's like doesn't justify anything, but whatever. Um, and around this time is when I met my stepmom Tina, and I mean, bless her soul, dude, she tried the hardest to be the good stepmom, and I was just a asshole kid, and that really sucks for her. She kind of fell into a pretty bad place with my father and her kids and his kids. She had kids of her own. I actually went to elementary school with her youngest son, and we'll just skip that part of the story because it gets a little bit frustrating, and whatever. So when I was around 5, my mom married for the first time to a man named Lee. Um, Lee is a man who works with his hands, and he taught me how to work with my hands and how to like appreciate things I've done with work with my hands. But he's a blue collar man. Not really the lifestyle for me. Not really one to do hard labor. Um, but he was a alcoholic as well. But he wasn't like my father. Um, okay, my computer's just going crazy. All right, here I am. As I got older, I learned that there's different kinds of alcoholics. There's like mean drunks and fun drunks and high functioning alcoholics, non functioning alcoholics. The list goes on. I mean, you probably know a lot of alcoholics that don't let you know they're alcoholics. But he was the kind of person to play music real loud at night, even when my brother and I had school the next morning. But he liked to party and socialize when he was drinking, which was cool. I mean, I wouldn't say it was the environment for children to grow up in, but he did his best. He did better than my dad, which is like, it's good, you know. Um, but that marriage came to an end in around 2000. Um, and ever since then, my mom's been single. I've never really like. She's dated people who I've like definitely hated, and like I'm probably the reason they broke up. Like that's another story because I'm an asshole. Like one guy tried to ground me and take away my phone, and I was like, "Bitch, who the fuck do you think you are?" Whatever. He was fat and hairy. Okay. And the third man I want to talk about today is like the most important man in my life. Actually, it's my grandfather, and like I said, he's my mother's father, and he's actually her stepfather. I didn't find that out until I was like 13, and it blew my mind. I thought I was related to this man, and then I mean, I consider him family. He's my family. But it blew my mind. I was like, what? Like, I figured it out when I got a phone call at the house. This is before I had like a cell phone, and this man said, "Hey, it's your grandfather," and my grandfather was over, and I was like, "What are you talking about, Holmes?" Like, and that's kind of when I learned my mother had a bio dad and a stepdad. But my pops is, I don't know, he's, if I can grow up to be a quarter of the man he is, like, I will have been successful in my life. I mean, he raised my mom. Never called her stepdaughter, never called her like anything but his daughter. Helped raise my brother and I. And he never called us step grandchildren or like, oh, these are my wife's grandchildren. Like we're always family to him. And I really do owe him a lot. He's always been there to listen. And he always comes over to my house to like help do stuff and like, but he teaches me how to do things. He's the one who's taught me how to be a man and how to become a man. And I'm still working on that a lot, but he comes from a good family, and he tried his best to make our family like that, and it was incredible, like what he could do. He was a butcher for like 40 years, and some people say that's a really like messed up job, but I think it's one of the coolest jobs in the world because like someone who like is part of my heart was a butcher for 40 years, and like I want to become a butcher someday, just to know that I can butcher things, and it's in my blood, my fake step blood. But my pops is the kind of man to never like raise his voice, never choose violence. He's more of a passive person, which is crazy because my grandmother is not a passive person. She's a little bit out there, and those two together are just hilarious. Complete opposites. But I just wanted to talk real quick about how you can have these people in your life who are either really influential or really detrimental to your life and your upbringing. But that doesn't mean you have to be like they are. I could choose to be like my father. I could choose to drink. I can choose to do drugs and do that kind of stuff. Or I could choose to be like my pops and work hard and support his family, my family, and have fun while doing it, or I could choose to be like Lee and do a mix of both. But either way, I don't think my father, my bio dad, or my old stepdad really knows where they are in life right now. The other day I talked to my dad for about 3 minutes on the phone, and it really upset me because he was, pretty drunk, and like I should really know not to take things to heart. He says when he's drunk, but it's hard when it's your dad, because you want that approval and you want that relationship so bad. Like it feels like you're missing something when you don't have that relationship with like one or both parents. But he talked to me, and he got pretty violent sounding, and he said he really wanted me dead, and he asked me to stop calling him. So I did that. But there's one person I can always call, and that's my pops. And just look for the one person in your life that will always be there for you, even if they're gone. I mean, just know like they're watching your back, and they got, they're on your shoulder telling you the right thing to do. It might not even be family. It could be somebody like my pops, who's not even related to me, but he's the greatest man I've ever met in my entire life. It could be someone who's a friend. I have friends that really influence my life. I'm not related to them, but they understand me more than a lot of my family does. I've actually deleted all my family from Facebook because I'm pretty sure they all don't like me, which is fine. I don't care. I have my own family, and hopefully you can find that person in you one day, which I hope for as well. But I hope to be able to be that person for somebody else, to be able to inspire and let someone know that they're okay. They're not doing anything wrong. They're just, the way you are is perfect. And I want someone to feel that confidence after I tell them that. It'd be nice to have. But this video's starting to run on, so I'm gonna go probably take a shower. My hair looks pretty gross. And yeah, just let me know like who that person is for you. And I'll do another entry in a couple days about the medicine in me, and then we can talk about medication. All right, have a good one.